this video, I'm going to build a dashboard, a sales dashboard for a company called Superstore in Tableau. The data source for this dashboard is from sample databases provided by Tableau. When you open Tableau, the first window looks something like this. And the bottom left, you could see the sample databases, in it sample Superstore. Once we connect it, we have three tables here: orders, people, and returns. We'll be mostly using orders table for our analysis. First, I'm dragging the sales onto the canvas. Next, I'm navigating to the dimensions and clicking on location to find the state or province. After selecting state or province, we click on show me, and in that we select the map. Now I'm dragging the sum of sales onto the color marker. So in the map, the darker blue indicates more amount of sales and lighter blue indicates less amount of sales. Now I'm clicking on the label marker and checking show mark labels. So now we could see the sales for each state. We could do some formatting as well. We can change the color and the size of the font. That's all for this sheet. I'm renaming the sheet name as sales by state. Next, I'm adding another sheet, and in this sheet I'm dragging the order date onto the columns and dragging the sales onto rows. I'm also dragging profits onto the rows. By default, it is taking the sum of sales and sum of profit. You could also change that. So the x-axis is now years. I'm drilling it down to quarters, months, weeks, and days. Next, I'm dragging order date as a filter. In this, I could choose the drill down. It could be years, quarters, or months. I'm selecting years. Click next. And in the years, I could select between 4 years, 21 to 24. I'm selecting 2024. Click OK. Now this data is only for the year 2024. Now, at this point, I could make the filter apply for all the sheets, even the sheets which we have worked before and the sheets which we are going to do after this sheet. To do that, I click on the year filter and you could see something like apply to worksheets. At least select all using this worksheet. Now if we go back to the previous sheet, we could see the same filter applied to that sheet as well. Not only that, any sheets which you are going to do after this sheet will have the same filter added automatically. The next thing I want to do is I want to combine these two axes. I want to have both the plots on the same axis. To do that, right click on any of the two rows and select dual axis. Now we could see both the plots with the same axis. Though we have both the plots on the same axis, the scales are different. If you see to the left and right, each plot is taking its own scale. I want to combine these scales and plot them on a common scale. To do that, right click on the right axis, right click, synchronize axis. You also have to uncheck the header, so right click, uncheck show header. Now we could see the scale has disappeared and both the plots are now on a common axis and common scale. If you want to change the color combination, on the left pane you have the color marker. You could edit colors there and experiment on the colors. I'm renaming the name of the sheet as sales and profit by date. Now let's move on to the next sheet. Now I'm selecting subcategory in product and profit in the measures, and selecting show me to find different types of plots. I select a pie chart for this combination. To make the pie chart bigger, I'm going to the top pane and selecting entire view in the drop down. I also go to the left marks shelf and selecting the size. In the size, I'm making the pie chart bigger. Now to get the labels on the pie chart, I'm dragging the subcategory onto the labels. I'm also dragging profit onto the labels. Now we could see both the category and the labels on the pie chart. The next thing I want to do is, instead of the profit for each segment on the pie chart, I want to have a percentage of the total. For that, I right click on the profit label, quick table calculation, percentage of total. Let's rename the sheet as profit by subcategory. For the next sheet, I'm dragging the product name onto the rows. Now we could see for each row we have ABC column. Next, I'm dragging the quantity onto the ABC column. I'm dragging sales onto the quantity column, and finally dragging profit onto these two columns. Now we could see all the profit, quantity and sales for each product. Now if you go to the columns, right click on the little arrow, you could check and uncheck these three columns. You could adjust the size of the table, going to the top and selecting fit width so that the table occupies the entire canvas. Let's rename this sheet as details by product. Now let's create a dashboard with these 4 sheets. I'm clicking on the dashboard tab. This opens up a new dashboard. On the left navigation pane, you could see 2 tabs, dashboard and layout. In the dashboard, we have some objects, the horizontal container, vertical container, text, and so on. We also have all the sheets, whatever we prepared so far. In the layout, we could see the item hierarchy. So now I'm clicking on the dashboard and dragging a vertical container onto the canvas. On this vertical container, I'm dragging the sales by state sheet. Now I'm dragging a horizontal container below this vertical container. Now while dragging, you could see there is a thin shaded border, gray shaded border. I'm dragging the container on that shaded area. Now we are having a horizontal container below a vertical container. If you go to the layout and look for the hierarchy, you could see the vertical container, and inside the vertical container there is a horizontal container. So in the horizontal container, I'm dragging the sales and profit by date sheet, and next to that, profit by subcategory. You could see the gray shaded area to the right of it. I'm dragging there. And finally, I'm dragging details by product to the right of this pie chart, again on the shaded area. Now we could see all the 3 plots: sales and profit by date, profit by subcategory, and details of product. The legends of these individual sheets, like measure names and subcategory, are moved to the right of the dashboard by default. We could change their behavior. we could bring those legends to the actual plot where it belongs to. So to do that, first I'll create a vertical container in between these two sheets, sales and profit by date and profit by subcategory. That's a vertical container. Now I drag the measure names into this vertical container. Then I drag the sales and profit by date into this vertical container below the legend. So now we could see both the legend and the plot at the same location. I'm getting rid of the subcategory legend and profit legend because those are already marked on the pie chart itself. Next, I would like to add filter for the year on the dashboard itself. To do that, click on the little arrow, then select filters and year of order date. Now that filter has come to this bottom of the dashboard. I want to relocate it. For that, I would create a title and relocate this to the top. To do that, first I create a horizontal container on top of this vertical container. Then I drag a text object on top of this container. Inside the text, I would give the title. Now I'm moving this filter which we have created before to the right of this title. Let's adjust the font size of the title. So with the filter, we could select the year for which we want the data. For example, if you click on 2021, all the visualizations will be changed for that year. I'm changing the size of the pie chart. To do that, I'll visit the actual sheet and reduce the size. This will change the size of the pie chart in the dashboard as well. Next, if we click on the filter on the map, we could select each state, and each state data will be reflected on all the visualizations. If you go to the layout hierarchy and select the horizontal container, we could arrange the items inside the container evenly. We could check it or uncheck it to make changes. We could also make changes to the width of each column of the table. Here I'm increasing the width of the product name so that the product name appears completely. Now we could select any chart, any part of the chart, and the entire data of all the visualizations will be changed accordingly. That is the beauty of a dashboard. So that's how we could create individual sheets and create a dashboard in Tableau. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching.